welcome and good night. Association podcast brought to you by the University of Fantasy Basketball. I'm your host, Dr. Dane Andre, and I am with our distinguished professor, Kilonomics. Good night, brother. How are you?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. I'm on my last battery, but happy to be talking fantasy basketball hoops, man. We seem to always be doing it at the 11th or the 12th hour, but I mean, we get it in, right?
Yeah, we're gonna be clutch tonight. We're gonna be clutch and hit it for the buzzer. We're trying to get to bed soon and get on get on with our activity. So yeah, man, we talking about the you know the four teams that were sort of the bottom half of the playoff standing. So we're calling these the Rising Four. Who knows where they'll end up next year? Maybe hopefully in the top four. But um, we'll go in and see who these teams are. I think most of them you already know who you are, but for those who are just joining, speaking of which, we got a new owner, Killer. How you feeling?
Uh, this is pretty exciting. Pretty exciting, man. We've got an owner. He's pretty enthusiastic. He's trying to get the fans excited. Um, he's been bringing a lot of great energy to the Discord group,
Yes, sir.
and he's already making moves, man. He,
Absolutely. The
he's
Flint
not.
Tropics.
Yep.
Yeah, we're looking forward to more moves. He's made a few already, trying to shake things up with that roster. But yeah, man, officially welcome, Taylor, to the league. We're excited to have you and like Killer said, bringing lots of energy to the Discord right now and making moves already. We love it.
He's done more moves in 3 days than Solid State has done in 10 years. Like Flint Tropics, he's ready to move the team, man. He's moving the team. He's taking it to a new place, a new height, and I'm just excited to see where he takes that franchise, man.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get
What's
him on
that?
and tell us a little bit about the new franchise and the location and everything. So hopefully stay tuned for that. We gotta get him on. All right, so let's get to it now. We are talking about the Rising Four, like I mentioned. I'm gonna start with the New York Knickerbockers. This is a team that although they are in the Rising Four, they technically are already there, man. They went right to the finals last year. My finals opponent and took me to the very end, last minute. We barely snuck out of there with a win. They really started from the bottom. I think they were the eighth seed. No,
Eighth
they
seed. They
yeah,
were
they were
trying to be the third, eighth seed to bring home a championship.
actually wait, am I? No. They were the seventh seed, right?
I played them in
Oh
the
no, they were the eighth.
round,
Wait.
so they had to be the eighth seed.
Huh, okay. That's interesting. Right. They played
They, they
Van City first.
yeah, they
Yes,
upset
they
the
did.
number one seed.
Right. So lot of big moves, man. They actually made some big moves to get them in that position, right? I think it was the Alperon Şengün trade they made. Um, I think they also made the move for Devin Booker that got him in that position. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
The Booker move. I mean, I think it was the guy you got right there on the poster.
Mm.
That guy was just phenomenal down the stretch. He was winning people fantasy leagues left and right, and he was just on a tear, right? Like I'm sure you watched, a couple of those Knicks games, and there was a lot of excitement. in the New York area for what OG was finally able to do in a Knicks uniform, right? It took, Jalen Brunson to be out and for there to be injuries, but how are you feeling? How were Knicks fans feeling, around that stretch?
You
Um,
know, for me, it was a bittersweet moment. Obviously because I'm watching OG play like an all-star, and I'm like, wait, who? Like, this is the guy I've been waiting to see, right? But he's doing it at the wrong time. Like, I'm getting I'm getting the worst end of it. And I'm here in my bed watching the game and looking at the scores on my phone, getting the alerts, and I'm just like, this dude is can't miss a shot. Like, what's going on? I mean, I love it, but then I can't root for it like properly, you know? And that's my problem with playing against Knicks players and even having them on my team sometimes. I really it's really tough, even though I had Josh Hart and he kind of helped me get over the hump. But just watching OG was like both incredibly uh exciting and also nerve-wracking.
Give me some estimates of what you think OG was putting up for the fantasy playoffs. Like
Oh
how
man,
many how many points?
I feel like he was averaging like 30, to be honest.
I mean,
And he
it was
was
it was
shooting
23, which is like 30 for OG. It's basically 30 points a game for OG.
felt like 30 to me.
He was putting up 2.7 threes. How many rebounds you think we were talking about around that time
At
frame?
least eight, right? At least eight.
Yeah, he was at the six rebound mark,
Okay. It felt like eight.
putting up,
Two
three
steals?
assists, two steals, which is like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
Yeah.
cheat in itself. You get 3 games. I mean, that's
Yeah.
4 games. That's like eight. And he was
Eh,
doing it at a high percentage. He was at 50% from the field,
mhm.
83% from the free throw line. He was ranked seventh by the averages for that playoff stretch, right? So he was really leading that team down that stretch. And then he had the support of Zubac. Like Zubac was a nightmare, man. He was 19 and 12, 19 and 13, not even 12, 19 points and 13 rebounds on strong field goal percentage.
Yeah, Zubac was ODing. He had a good, and so the combination of Zubac and Şengün was kind of, you know, a very destructive and productive one at the same time, man.
Yeah, man. But Devin Booker, man, was bad vibes, man. I was looking at the stats, man. And I was expecting to see something different.
Mm.
But your man was like ranked like in the 80s, right?
During that stretch, right?
Man, that
Yeah,
stretch,
I
man.
did notice. I remember there was one game in particular during that finals where he had like something real suspect. Where I I remember he didn't it seemed like I don't know if he took the night off or what happened, but he did something real suspect during that finals run. And I thank him for that because we needed all the help we can get for sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, Knickerbockers took out my Brooklyn Phoenix in the process, man. That was a pretty disappointing loss, man. We got spanked 2-7.
Damn.
And at some point you gotta eventually, look at the film and figure out what happened. And um, you know, I'm gonna say I wasn't impressed with the Knickerbockers. I'm gonna keep it straight, and I'm gonna say I wasn't impressed with the Knickerbockers.
Okay,
And
explain.
I think he got opportunistic, right? I looked at kind of the game logs and I realized, oh, that was the week Jokic did not play.
So what you're saying is that finals run was a fluke.
I'm not saying it's a fluke. I'm just saying Jokic didn't play any games. Jamal Murray decided to only play a game.
Oh, you just told me in reference to your team.
And then, Dame Lillard, just decided. his heart was in Portland, right? So he only played a half a game.
Right.
The game. I mean, it was just a very disappointing effort by the Phoenix, right? I like to do some calculations, and I
Hmm.
noticed we lost by about 180 points, 14 threes, 43 assists. So, I mean, you could do a little bit of math. Maybe Jokic plays 3 games. He gets like 10 assists. That's like 30 assists there. Then you got Dame Lillard. That's like probably like 6, 7 assists. Right, right. You can add it up, right? And then 14
Yeah.
threes, I mean, Dame can do that in a game or two. Um, but I'm doing right what sore losers do, right? Like we talking hypotheticals, we talk about projections, we talk about this woulda, coulda, shoulda happened. But the reality of the situation is our team just was not good enough against the Knickerbockers.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I think the key to their success was really making moves at the right time. They had some really key ads during the season. They seemed to, cut guys loose when they weren't really doing what was intended. And yeah, I mean, right up to the very end. I mean, you look at the guys that went away for this team. Trading away Austin Reeves, trading away Trey Murphy, um, third. These are guys that you look at, they're young enough to be core pieces for your team going forward, but you're not mad at what they got back, right? Bringing in Şengün, bringing in, Tamani Kamara, obviously, all-star caliber player in Devin Booker. Um, these are guys that helped them through that playoff run. These are guys that obviously added more than they detracted from this team.
And through the season. And I love how you said moves. That was one of the things New York Knickerbockers continued to do throughout the season. This man made 43 moves throughout the season. He
Mm.
made his locker room very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
had 21 weeks. That means there was two players that was keeping their bags like
yeah.
they didn't unpack their bags. They were keeping them close to the locker room because they knew there was a chance next week, you know,
It's
they might not be wearing the jersey.
yeah,
They
it's a
they
clear, it's
might
a
they might they might be on the waivers.
yeah,
Like
it's a
it was
clear message, man. It's a clear message. Like either you do what I brought you here to do or get out. And
and
simple as that.
to put it in perspectives, I mean that's like Killanomics culture. Like like we cut bait like pretty quickly and pretty early.
Mm.
I mean, here, here's the question I've got. How many moves do you think the Brooklyn Phoenix made this past season?
Plus maybe plus 15?
That's a pretty good guess, pretty close. Yeah, so I made about 26 moves, right?
Okay.
So he doubled, right? The amount of moves, and I made the second most moves, right? And I'm usually
Wow.
really one or two, right? Um, and it just showed you, right? Like he, really putting a culture like, I'm only keeping you here if you're helping us move forward. You're helping us progress. You're helping us get to that next level, helping us get to the finals, helping us to do something bigger than the sum of the parts.
When you look at their top five contributors from last year, three of them actually were late season acquisitions. And if they were to, well, obviously Şengün is one of those guys who's not there anymore. But if you were to keep these top five performers, we're talking about 80%, 86% of the cap being taken up for next season. So 14% of the cap left to really continue to build around this team. They do have a draft pick in the top 10 of this coming rookie draft, but Do you see that player being someone who's going to really contribute to this roster right now, or and really, if you when you're looking at things, what do you see as a next logical step for this franchise?
Um, if Kyrie, so is Kyrie Irving considered in that projected cap?
I think Kyrie's gone. I think
He's gone.
Kyrie got
Okay.
waived. Yeah.
Okay, so Kyrie got waived. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a pretty interesting free agency auction for this franchise. Um, they like continue to kind of change the players that's wearing the jersey. And so there's just a lot of volatility. I'm having just a hard time just keeping up with who's on the roster, right? Um, and so it's gonna be kind of an interesting kind of off season to see what they put together. Certainly, if they're trying to continue to compete, that 10th pick is probably highly unlikely to contribute. So probably best to kind of get off and see if they can package it up and get another player, maybe another Nick player to give you a nightmare, just in case they make a playoff run again. Then you got to worry about two, three Knicks players, coming against you, right? So there's kind of that to play there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if yeah, there's I don't have a strong opinion other than I think it's going to be very hard to repeat what they did this past season. But I would not be surprised if they repeat it, right? They showed that they've got a culture of if it's not working, we're gonna move on. We're gonna change things. Um, we're gonna try to figure out something that's gonna work to get them where they're trying to get to, which is their first association championship.
Yeah, they came really close this year. We'll see how long it takes. I mean, that's the thing with this league, man. You get to the finals, you never really know when you're gonna get back. And so yeah.
Unless you're the Gotham Danes, then you know exactly when you're gonna get back. Whenever the finals week is set, just put Gotham Danes. And so what does that leave? You do the percentages. We got 15 teams. So I mean it's tough. You got like a 5%. That's 5% of 50%. Damn. Making me do the probability. It's like 5%. I mean, you're talking about 3% chance because Dane's spot is already like he's already there. That's like back in the day with the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron, just like each year, just in the finals. Uh,
Yeah, well, I mean, some things are predictable, some things are not. I don't know what to say, man. We're gonna try to keep it going. But they've, like I said, they're still making moves. As far as familiar faces coming in next year, I think they obviously have some decisions to make when it comes to Devin Booker. He's going to be at 113 next year, so obviously, um, that's part of that 86% we talked about. Zubac is at 70. Um, they've uh, they've got some moves to make, but we'll see what things look like when we get closer to the free agency draft and see what they're working with because I expect more moves are going to be made throughout the summer. So all right, well let's guess we'll keep things moving over into our next team.
I guess we're staying in New York.
Um, is that the case?
I
Let's
think
see.
we are, man. I think we're headed.
Yes, you're right. We are. We're heading to Rucker Park. Um, wow. A lot to say about this team. When you talk about making moves, I mean, there's no team that really makes quite as many moves as the Busters, man. Well, particularly around the trade market, man.
I
They're
was gonna say,
always active.
yeah, that's the trade market,
Yeah,
Keep your
yeah.
keep your phone open and alive and open because I mean,
He's working, man.
nobody's safe on his
He's
roster.
he's working, man. He's working always. He's on the phone making moves. So, yeah, good season by all standards, right? I think they obviously took a step back after Wemby got hurt.
But it was just the accumulation of injuries for this team. Luca missed significant time, right?
Right, right.
I think he actually got, traded, in real life, right around the time he was hurt, which was pretty interesting.
And how about this with that Luca trade? Traded for the same player, right?
I,
They traded Luca and brought in AD,
I,
some
yeah,
Rob Pelinka,
yeah, Rob Palenka. And then
and
what's my other man? What's my
what's my
other man
man's
in
name?
Dallas?
My man Nico.
Yeah, yeah, Rucker Park was definitely doing his best impersonation of Nico. Do you
Yeah.
remember who he traded Luca for?
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, yeah. Donnie.
Wasn't just Donnie, he got Donnie and
And Keegan Murray, I think.
Keegan Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rucker Park was drinking a couple 40s, man. Before he did that trade, man. That trade,
So
what?
you didn't like the trade, huh?
Nah, that trade was pretty awful. That trade was just was Nico-esque, man. Like the memes should be flying, man, because I mean I like Don Mitchell, but we talking about Luca and Don Mitchell was already struggling with his injuries. Kenny Atkinson was already trying to conserve the minutes. Keegan is a little bit deceiving. He's always gonna kind of go up in the ranks because he's a low turnovers and a pretty high um totals type of player because he plays like every game and plays
Yeah.
a lot of minutes.
Sturdy. And that's what this team needed, right? They needed guys who were gonna play, show up. Um, they needed guys who, were gonna put up buckets and if you're gonna trade Luca, you definitely need to fill that hole.
But I mean, you got to have a common story, right? Like they traded Chet too, right? Like Chet was kind of gone in the process. You lost DeJounte Murray. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, the Chet one is the one I was really surprised about. I was surprised that he cut bait on Chet so quickly. And we could talk about you know, why you think we can speculate why you think that move was made, but it did get him Anthony Davis. I I don't think I would have had the balls to make that move, but what what did you think about that trade? It was Tobias Harris and Anthony Davis for DeJounte Murray and Chet Holmgren. DeJounte, who was already by that point was already injured. So I think that was a great move for him to get that salary out of there. It's dead money at that point because DeJounte's not playing this season, right?
yeah, probably not. I think this owner was just down bad, man. Like, you know how it goes, man. You got one bad event, second bad event. You just have a momentum of bad events. You're just in a pretty dark place, man. And you just trying to look for some light. Right? And Anthony Davis, I mean, he was performing and playing pretty well, up until the point, you know. He unfortunately suffered the injury, right? And things kind of went downhill. So, I mean, you can't be mad at the process. Davis was a beast, but he's also a pretty fragile player, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a really risky rule. And then at the end he did miss a lot of time in the end of towards the end of that season, that playoff run, right? During playoff season, I believe Davis was out for a
Davis
good
was out.
amount of that. Yeah. And that's, again, looking at things, that's probably why Rucker Park ended up I played him first round and I mean, I don't want to kid myself, but if Wemby's there,
Well, here, let's ask a big question, man. Like, I mean, I have my doubts about Wemby, like surviving.
Okay.
Um,
I've heard you talk about this
I,
before.
I think that's got to be factored in. Like Wemby is a unique player trying to play a pretty difficult role to stand up in the pace uh in which the NBA game is played at today. Like you are talking about a 7'5" guy that's like got dribble moves, is running up and down as fast as guards. Like that is just gonna take a lot of toll on that body. And he's got a history of being injured and hurt from like when he was playing in Europe. That a lot of people kind of ignore. And I get why people ignore, right? It's just the magic of what he can become.
Yeah, you get fired if you don't draft him. Like that's just plain and simple, right? You don't draft this guy, you get fired,
Hmm.
right? I mean, so that's not in question. So what do you think your level of investment should be given your trepidation with Wemby?
I think you do what I've seen in a lot of leagues. What I would do? I would get like a grandfather offer, like get someone that's like into the hype of Wemby and just get them to overpay, man. Because you will find somebody who will do it, and then
Yeah, rumors are Wemby almost got traded.
they will feel really good and then feel really bad immediately when they realize that this guy might not be playing actual basketball games.
Yeah, finished his season got finished off with a blood clot diagnosis. I That's kind of scary.
Hmm. So it's just I don't know, man. Where do you stand at on the Wemby
Yeah, man,
vibes?
I don't trade that guy, man. If he's on my franchise, if I have him on my team, man, uh, we gonna live or die by the Wemby, man. I just can't see myself trading him. But I completely understand what your concerns are there with him. If you're looking at the cap, and if you're going to keep this team together and try to build around this, which obviously they're not, they can't, because we're talking about 113% of their cap is now taken up by five guys. You know, some real big decisions are going to be made here. So what do you think they should do here?
I
Hello?
mean, I don't have the numbers as far as like what Wemby is gonna be going up by.
Well, Wemby's going to be, I believe he's going to be like $62.
Okay, so that's still
That's reasonable.
pretty good value, right? Especially
Absolutely.
he's a first round guy. Um,
Hmm.
Arguably the number one or number two player if he's active and playing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean Donovan Mitchell's. I mean
He's going to
that's
be
pretty
making
much
money.
waivers. I mean
That's 123 for Donnie.
yeah. I mean that's a tough spot because that's probably where he goes on the free market. So that's a tough decision.
Hmm.
Um,
OG, well, I won't talk about OG because he was a recent acquisition, but we just talked about OG last year. But um, yeah, the Keegan, who's up there, $56 to keep Keegan next year,
yeah.
53 to keep Tobias.
Tobias is probably definitely walking. Like I think you thank him for his time with your team and you tell him to see if he can get a better offer on the open market.
Yeah, I kind of see based on the on some of the moves that they've made so far. They've brought in a few really young, cheap guys. We won't get too deep into that into this offseason, the offseason moves, but yeah, they're gonna have to continue. I'm gonna say I think they have the right thought in mind, but as far as like who they decide to build this team around outside of Wemby and who they bring in to kind of form that core. That's gonna be there's gonna be some tough decisions to be made there because there's a lot of money being invested
What
into like guys like Wemby and well I'll just say it Carl Towns was added to this team and he's at like 118 next year. So um
I
yeah,
mean, I
and the
mean,
problem too is too they have the number 11th pick, which is like, almost like a free roster spot, plus $1. Um, but that pick has been moved to Syracuse. So um
there's also, there's a guy. He can fill it up, Mr. Cam Thomas,
oh yeah. Well,
right?
oh yeah, let's talk about Cam. Is
Cam just
he's to
signed
the
that
restrict
big 2-year, $12 million deal. Second year is a team option.
with who?
The Brooklyn Nets, man.
Oh,
Like
okay. So
there,
he's coming back.
there is no market for his stats. That is pretty surprising and like
People don't believe in him, man.
I don't know if it's people don't believe in him as much as people don't like him. And maybe the two you can argue are kind of the same.
Yeah.
There's a decent amount of overlap. Um, but I just can't see how you can ignore a guy that was scoring like 40 to 50 points, shooting, some of the most difficult shots you see in the game of basketball, and think this guy isn't worth a decent amount of money. Like this guy can score like some of the best in the NBA. Yeah, he's got tunnel vision, but so do many of the superstars in the NBA.
But is he a superstar?
Huh?
Is he selling tickets?
No, I think he needs like some PR assistance. He needs more assistance in kind of that arena in that area. Um, he's probably seen as probably too cocky of a player.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that's like very hard, especially with him being an undersized guard. The other big thing is people didn't take notice, but his playmaking actually improved last year. Um, and so I mean,
When you say improve, I mean I do remember him having like a 10 assist game against Chicago towards the end of the season last year, but um I mean I don't know the circumstance around that
I, I,
game.
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
In a press conference, right, that 10 assist game, and I'm paraphrasing, he was asked, "Hey, you had one of your best like assist games of the season. What was different?" And he's like, "Oh, they made shots."
Wow.
He's like, "Yeah, I always pass the ball. Like you know, players make shots." And there's certainly some truth to it, right? I mean, you look at the players the Nets were putting on the court, like these weren't guys that were gonna, shoot the laces off the ball. But he was
Yeah.
also not admitting to his tendency to have like tunnel vision and maybe not be able to see, of a very easy pass that other playmakers would excel in, right? And that's kind of the challenge with his game, right? I think there's some level of playmaking that he still needs to kind of work on as being a guard.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I guess, if you will, his playmaking, at least seemingly went up if you want to look at his numbers. But he had a what career high, almost 4 assists this year. I mean, that's solid.
At a two guard? right?
Yeah, they're the two guard, but he also like was turning it over like 2.5 times per game too. So
Mhm.
it's not it's like
The work in progress.
career high
Work
in
in
assists,
progress.
career high in turnovers. I don't know.
I mean, he was shooting the ball. He was shooting the laces off the ball. I mean, look at the 3 points percentage and the threes that he was putting up. I think he was close to like 40% a game, which is
30,
another reason why I was surprised.
35%, 35%, I believe.
35 from three?
Yeah.
I thought he hit the 40.
No, he's definitely like 34%. So
Okay.
it's like good for he we know he can hit the three. Two, 3 out of 8. It's- I don't know.
I mean, it's
Uh,
3 out of 8, and probably like four of them are contested. Are you shooting them like with two people? I mean, and
right, right. They
his
don't
double
love it.
team.
They don't love his shot selection, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's probably part of the problem. Um, how many games did he play last year, by the way?
And last year he had a couple of hamstring injuries. The other thing is, and this kind of goes into the conspiracy theory, is the Nets slowed, the Nets brought him back slowly, right? Because if I remember correctly, they were actually winning games in the beginning of the season. And he was probably a strong reason of why that was happening, right? That's a shot maker. Um, and so I think they were in no rush to bring him back during, his soft tissue injuries. Um,
Yeah, 25 games last year.
right?
25. So he averaged even the averages we were talking about. I mean, it looks great. 24 points per game, almost 4 assists. You know, 43%, 44% almost shooting, 34% from three. I don't know that you can gather that much. I think it was a tough year to be in a I think that's a tough season to come off of and be in a contract year. As a restricted free agent. The Nets are played this
You sound like
e-
Sean
e-
Marks, man.
exceptionally.
You
I'm
sound like Sean Marks.
yeah, I like a lot of what Charlotte Marks has done in his career, but he needs to he does need he he's done some weird things too. So I'll include in this last draft. I have to say. All
Oh,
right,
yeah.
I don't know why we talk about Cam Thomas so much in this segment, but let's just move on to our next team.